next panel discussion will focus on data-driven decision-making in education, examining the use of data to improve student outcomes, analytics in education management, and addressing privacy and ethical considerations. For this, I would like to call upon our panelists. Our first panelist is Dr. Munish Sabharwal, Executive Director and Professor at IILM University. Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, for Dr. Munish Sabharwal. Our second panelist is Dr. Sanjeev Bansal, Pro Vice Chancellor at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Our third panelist, ladies and gentlemen, is Dr. Prasoon M. Tripathi, Professor and Director at Institute of Management Studies. And our fourth panelist is Aditya Shashtri, Head of Partnerships at IIDE. Let's have a huge round of applause, everyone, for all our panelists.
Hello. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. So I have got the opportunity to be the speaker come the moderator and play the devil's advocate as well for this session. Data-driven, decision-making in education. And, data-driven decision-making in education has multiple dimensions. You could use data-driven decision-making even for advertising. You can use data-driven decision-making for your admission pitches. You could use data-driven decision-making for pedagogy, for teaching your students, for, what particular career path they should take or an elective path they should take when they are pursuing a degree course. And you could use data-driven decision-making for their placements. And by and large, you could use data-driven decision-making for all kinds of student outcomes. So I will ask a set of questions to the esteemed panelists with me and probably take their opinion on the different aspects of data-driven decision-making during the course of next 45 odd minutes, and take their responses one-on-one, and probably add my bits and keep playing the devil's advocate wherever it is required. So I'll start the session. I'll start with Dr. Bansal. What according to you, Dr. Bansal, does data-driven decision-making mean in the context of higher education?
Thank you so very much, Dr. Munish. First of all, let me just clarify, I am not the master. There are two types of people in the world. First, who know that do not know, and second, they do not know that they do not know. I am from the first category. I know I do not know. So let me just try, but to me, since I am incidentally from the field of statistics, decision sciences, and data decision making, data-based decision making is not new to me. I feel, Dr. Munish, when we speak about education sector, when we speak about data-driven technologies, everything in education sector from entry to exit, from admission to assessment, and in case if a university or institution just like Amity is following outcome-based education, till the final outcome, it's definitely going to be very important. So in every field, every aspect of education, data-driven methods are going to be very, very important.
Dr. Prasoon, your comments, initial comments on the same?
Whoever made this panel is a remarkable panel. One data scientist, other data scientist, third data person. I am the only storyteller. So I have nothing to do with the data. So you give me the data, probably I'll tell the story. We are generating a lot of data. And we cannot no longer afford to take any decision based on whims and fancies. We cannot afford to take any decision because lot many lives are at stake in terms of making impact, because we are into academic world and we are making the world impacting society and the stakeholders. I cannot take any decision based on my mood. I cannot take decision based on the other people's mood. Decisions in all ways have to come based on the data and what data says. Definitely you need a wisdom to go decide and what decision to be taken on the basis of the data. But any decision without being supported by data, which is going to be very difficult, painful for organizations and the society as well.
Aditya, your initial comments on.
So, sir, I mean, all of you are much ahead of time when it comes to experience. We've understood two things, sir, because we are freshly new in this EdTech space since last 8-10 years. 90% of our decisions have been data-driven, right from knowing which teacher is creating an impact in the classroom, to understanding that this bunch of students are not being able to cater to the kind of learning that is being given to them, and whether or not a particular group of ethnicity of students is being able to grasp this particular topic from a particular teacher. I'm just saying it from a learning perspective. As sir rightly said that, it's about impact towards the stakeholders, and data has been pivotal to make certain decisions to, even make changes in the middle of the tenure. So this is my take on it, sir. That is how.
So I'll narrate a small incident. Long back, I used to be director of an institution, and we wanted to put up some advertisement hoardings. So somebody walked up to me that here is a list of hoardings that I have prepared, and they will be installed. So and it is around, what I am speaking is around 15 years back. So I asked him, how did you finalize the list of these spots where you were going to put these hoardings? So he told me, I went to the spots, I liked the spots, so I finalized. So I told him, you go and check all the students that are studying in our campus, which places do they belong, make a list, and then prepare a graph from where we have the maximum students, where we have the minimum students. And then finally he made that in 3-4 days. And then we had a meeting and we decided that, the hoardings need to be put up where we have minimum students and median students, because from where we are getting the maximum number of students, we thought there is no need for that. So at that point in time, I never realized that this is what data-driven decision making is. So the nutshell to the question where you could apply this, you could apply this probably at all the pin spots of an educational journey. I think even from conceptualizing the educational institution to putting it up, getting the students, and then student outcomes and placing them at every, milestone, you could apply data-driven decision making. So another question is, what type of data institutions should, consider? So although probably my view is a bit different on this, but I'll share my view at the end. What type of data, sir?
Dr. Munish, if you permit, before that I would like to just, a small couplet I would like to address to my audience, if you all permit. The couplet says like, वक्त सारी जिंदगी में दो ही गुजरे हैं कठिन, एक तेरे आने से पहले एक तेरे जाने के बाद. So I used to wonder what this basically is referring to. Today I recognize it's actually referring to lunch. So sessions before lunch and after lunch are, I think, the most difficult one. So I can just feel how so many people are getting restless. So, so my request to all of you is, it's a matter of few minutes, kindly bear with us. Dr. Munish has asked a very beautiful question about the type of data systems. I can just speak about, there are so many, from SIS to LMS to many portals and many things we are using. Amity, we are using LMS, which is basically customized, and we are using a very beautiful system called ERP, which we call as Amazon, which is basically totally customer-centric, totally stakeholder-oriented, And I think if I say that this ERP system has made the life of everyone at the campus easy, I should not be. When it was started way back in 2007, people were very apprehensive and they used to complain a lot. But with the help of this Amazon system, I can now, this is a SIS system which we are using now. I can just say that it has basically made the life of everyone so easy. Like, let me just quote some examples. Day before there was a circular which said that 14th April is going to be a holiday. Now I am also incidentally chairing the examination committee of university. And the campus in Noida, Greater Noida, Lucknow, Dubai and Tashkent, and we have to manage the examination of all. And if all of a sudden after the declaration of calendar, a holiday is declared, it definitely going to give you goosebumps. And when I saw there were 187 examination papers to be reshuffled from 14th April to somebody else. And before we could announce the change of date, I received at least 200 complaints where everyone on the basis of their pre-assumed hypothetical thinking, they just said, this should not be the date, or I think you are going to put this date, we are having this planning and so on. And we are a university with only 40,000 plus students. And believe you me, within half an hour, we were able to solve this entire thing. When I asked my examination team to please search, please put in the gaps, put in the checks, and problem of every student whosoever has mentioned that they have to go there, whatever, and there should be ample gap in between the examination, and it was being done only because of that. So.
Dr. Prasoon, what type of data university should focus on?
What type of data? So, okay, it's very, I mean, every data is required. What kind of data, what type of data for me? Because I am looking into, I am there, we as an institution are there to make impact students' learning. So data which is important for us to measure the student learning. And to measure this student learning, we need multiple things because we were discussing why one subject of statistics, the whole course to be taught by only Dr. Bansal. Probably he teaches probability in a better way. So why it could not be modular? Anyways, the way the world is changing, the whole education system maybe tomorrow is going to be a cafeteria model. Why should I be doing MBA for 2 years? When I want to do MBA HR, why should I be studying 6 subjects of finance and 7 subjects of marketing and 8 subjects of operations? Why should I be doing? I have done my BTech. It's like a cafeteria. I would come. I know what I want to eat puri chole in the lunch. I want to have vada pav. I would have that vada pav. And whenever I feel hungry, I'll come back again and I'll eat it. And anyone who thinks that is going to change, and I'm talking about something which is not going to come, it's already started happening. 2 years MBA has become 1 year. Who is stopping for becoming for 6 months? 40 subjects MBA have already become to 20 subjects. So is stopping it from becoming 10 subjects. Why do I study 20 more subjects when I don't need to? Those kind of data which is going to make impact on people or not. And how it is impacting, which teacher is more effective in what. I mean, my alerts, my red flags to the data, using predictive analysis, because who is on the verge of, we can customize the data because based on their learning pattern. Mass customization can happen. So any data which is required going to impact my student learning, and for which I need to measure the student learning, is welcome.
Sir, if you permit, Dr. Munish, so actually my dear friend Dr. Prasoon has instigated me because when the moment he used the word statistics, so I just got a teacher of me inside actually has woken up. I think all of you must have heard of God doesn't play dice. Yes? You have heard this statement, very famous statement? God doesn't play dice. Can you tell why it was being said? So it was by Dr. Albert Einstein, and it was basically referring to something related to quantum mechanics. And he was having a different perspective, Oppenheimer was having a different perspective, but he said God doesn't play dice. So anybody can answer why he said that? Because this is a session on data only, and as Dr. Prasoon has said, this is a matter of basic field of statistics also. So when I say God doesn't play dice, there is no need for him to play dice because he doesn't have to get into speculation.
He doesn't rely on probability.
Yes, he doesn't rely on. Why? Because he has the absolute data. He has the total data. He has the total unfiltered data for everyone. So there is no need for him to speculate. And this is basically the truth about the data. The moment you feel that it should be data-driven technology, everything, if you have the right, correct data, unfiltered data, it is not statistical data which can be manipulated. When we definitely say we have won the race and I stood second in the race and there were only 2 people. So if that data is not of that type, I believe you me, it's definitely going to be very helpful. And this is something which is required. And as a student of decision sciences, I always feel that if data is available unfiltered, then only a right kind of decision making can be done. Otherwise, we will just keep on fluctuating as we are doing for our GDPs and other ratios, where we are actually taking half the population into account and half the population not into account. And we are definitely having something which is always going to be questionable. I'm so sorry, sir.
Aditya, what type of data should educational institutions prioritize?
So, sir, I'll give you a use case of what we consider. 3 scenarios. Number 1, since we are a platform-based learning as well, we consider tracking of eyeballs as a factor. We want to see what are the expressions that the students have, and this can be done for an offline class as well. So we look at the faces of students and try to understand, could they understand the statement? Was this the place where they lost attention? Could this be delivered in a better way? And that has helped us improve on our videos. Second, when it comes to the offline space, we have been able to rearrange our curriculum in a way, wherever we saw a decline in scoring, let's say for a particular subject or for let's say particular internals as well, there were 3 data pointers that we were tracking. A, score of the faculty, not just from a perspective of whether they've been rated from 1 to 10, but the qualitative aspect of it as well, which most of the institutions somehow will end up missing out on. The second data that we were tracking was the lesson, classroom level satisfaction. So we had introduced a system where we were tracking, let's say there are 5 sessions, we were taking feedback for every 5 sessions, and we understood whether session 3 was not effective or session 5 was not effective. And last, sir, I think this was a very key metric that changed the way we are placing students as well, was the placement training satisfaction. A lot of times, various universities and institutions claim that, we help you in resumes, we help you in interviews, we help you in upskilling yourself to interface the industry that's going to come by. But there's no metric or a rate card to understand whether the training has been delivered effectively or not. So these were 3 places so we could create an impact.
So I'll share my take on this. I think what kind of data institutions should prioritize in this day and age? All kind of data. You have to prioritize, because if you do not have students, how will you have outcome? So you have to prioritize your advertising, you have to prioritize your admissions. Then when you have students, you got to teach them well. Otherwise you will not have students next year. And so you got to use your data for training them, for teaching them, for assessing their training, for assessing their teaching. And then you got to find the right placement for them. So again, you got to use it. So what kind of data in this day and age that we are using a lot of tech, a lot of AI, a lot of data driven, all kind of data. I think right from the inception or right from the prospective inception to take not only just student passing out of the organization and getting placed, even you should use track driven analysis, data driven analysis to contact your alumni. Keep a watch on them also, because these alumni are going to help you in the long run. They are tomorrow going to become some CEOs, some GMs, some managers, some heads. They're going to come back and give some lectures to your organization. They're going to come back, and some of them will become HR heads as well. They're going to and it is happening with institutions who have aged for 2 decades, 3 decades, that the same students who studied there are in leadership positions and they are helping. So you got to use it every, So my next question to all of you is a very simple one, is in your own organizations, what kind of softwares are you using for this data-driven analysis?
We are using multiple softwares for, one is that we are using subscribed Moodle for our LMS. We are using our own ERP for other various purposes, generating data. And then we are also using one different data for, data set for software for looking into the voice training and the data coming out with how they are going to be there, because technology is required to be at every space of our life, and then we are using there. So for generating data, we are using three kinds of softwares. We are using LMS, which is Moodle. We are using our own developed ERP for other various purposes, and then we are using our voice training and then communication training. One more software we are using it.
So
Like version. Yeah.
Sir, first of all, again, when I speak about data-driven decision making, I feel decision making cannot be without any data, for sure. So it has to be. At Amity, actually, we are fortunate that having a management which is far-sighted. So we were having a campus which was Wi-Fi in 1998, when number of places this Wi-Fi system were not working. From entry to exit, I can say in different parts, in addition to Moodle, we are using LMS system, we are using our customized ERP system of SIS, Amazon. Everywhere we are using one or other software. When I speak about entry, we are having entry on the basis of their face recognition system. When I speak about academics, we are using our ERP system. When I speak about examination, we are using Mind Logic and Metal, basically. We are for outcome assessment, we are using a different part. For their extracurricular and co-curricular activities, we are also using this. For their trainings and placements, we are having very lot of tie-ups. So at every aspect of academia, from entry to exit, from admission to their passing out, we are actually using one or other software, sir.
If I had been not a moderator and a speaker and they would have asked me the same question, my answers would have been same. And all those who are from the tech community and who are having their startup ventures, this is a startup idea for you. The problem with educational institutions is we use around 25-30 softwares. All the panelists said we use Moodle for this, we use Tally for accounts, we use this for this, training something else. Even for storage, we are using Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud. So for the last more than 2 decades, I have been advocating some startup should come up, talk to institutions like us, and develop one software that we can use for all our needs. Because our problem is there are more than, I think in my organization we use, for LMS we use Hitachi, for ERP we have Hitachi, but for accounts we use Tally, for normal, putting up expenses we use Salesforce, and for meetings we use Zoom, for closed meetings we use another software. So there is, I think if I had to list down, there will be 25 plus softwares. So this is an idea, and majority of the times those 25 softwares are not in sync with each other. So if you want to do examination, you have to fetch software data from your ERP, give it to Mind Logic, as he said. Now Mind Logic will do the exercise, and the output of Mind Logic has to be again pushed back to the ERP. There is no seamless integration among these 25 softwares. So that's an idea for somebody who wants a startup.
Very wonderful, Dr. Munish, and I think this is basically the takeaway of this session. Very wonderful thing you said.
So just to add on, we use one very free tool, and I'll advise everyone who's sitting over here to make a note of it. It's like one of the success formulas that we have faced in the last 8 years. It's called Google Looker Studio. Google Looker Studio. If you have this one free tool in your place, it will integrate with most of your APIs in the world. And mind you, your data reading will be much better because you don't have to read Excels anymore. Looker Studio is like a visualized version of how you have statistics printed in a magazine stating 70% of students did this, 80% of students did that. Looker Studio has changed our world. We look at right from student acquisition to placements, everything through one angle. So that has really helped us. All your 25 different softwares can somehow at least give you reporting at one place.
But the only apprehension is it is free.
Yeah,
And I don't like what is free.
fair.
It's very difficult to, something you pay for, you can call up and,
Sure.
fix
So
it
I
up.
think, sir, Adobe
Something you
Anal-
don't pay for, you cannot call up and fix it up.
So Adobe has one, sir. Adobe, you can go for the paid versions.
So, another question is, how do you think faculty can use, analytics in pedagogy and,
I'll-
learning? So,
I'll answer
we'll
that
start-
very
We'll
simply.
start with Aditya on this.
Yeah, I'll answer that very simply. How many of you teachers over here land up taking polls in the classroom by asking students to raise hands like these? Can you please raise your hands? For faculties who ask for polls by making them raise hands, this is exactly that can be substituted at least at the higher education level by making students open a link. Please allow them to use their cell phones for 2 minutes. Make them scan something. They'll give that poll right there and there itself. Just like how Lok Sabha has yes and no's, you will have data right on your screen. And trust me, students will start loving teachers much more in comparison to what they do right now. So this is what we do for sure. It's called Mentimeter. Mentimeter is something that we use.
Being extensively used nowadays in the classroom, so very extensively being used in the classroom, yeah.
So, again, Dr. Munish has basically given a
Your question was very, very wide open, and then being him professor and me being teacher, we can tell you that how many ways we can use technology to ensure that. So let's Dr. Bansal talk about it. Yeah.
But what the most difficult thing is unlearn. So when I say faculty, so
मेरा तो
if
बहुत
we,
मेरा बहुत बड़ा I've been going to so many places here and every place, and it's extremely important to unlearn. People talk about it, and then but I have asked about hundreds of people who are very, very learned. Tell me, how do I unlearn? I know that 2 is to 2 is 4. Tell me, how do I unlearn? Nobody has taught me how do I unlearn.
well, since this is out of preview of this curriculum, so I will not answer it here. I will discuss I will discuss with you outside.
This was a joke.
But friends, when you say unlearn, it basically means you have to come out of that mental block. Now, Mr. Aditya asked you a question like how many of you, we all raised our hands. Now, if you feel that there is another way to do this and we accept it mentally, this is the only key. And believe you me, nowadays, and the only parameter for doing this is you have to keep on upgrading. You have to keep on learning, you have to keep yourself aware of. And for that, development programs, faculty development programs, interactive programs are definitely very important. And we have to definitely do a lot of programs at the institution level, at the university level, to make people, make faculty members updated about the current and changing paradigms of education.
So, I'll share 2 examples of this. One is you go to LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning will give you very short courses. You keep doing the courses, you keep replying to the questions, and after doing 1 or 2 or 3 short courses, it will ask you what do you want to become at the end. And suppose you want to tell him, I want to be a cloud specialist. So either it will give you a path of more 10, 12 courses that you need to do to become a cloud specialist, or they would analyze your responses and tell you, boss, you cannot be a cloud specialist, please try and do web designing. So that is data driven because they are analyzing your responses. Probably your answers on the cloud knowledge are not so good, so they would advise you on other areas. Similarly, another company is SHL. They are probably known more for their test called MCAT. So what they are recently come up with that we are using at our university is an AI bot is taking the interview of a student on particular set of topics that we can choose and customize. And once the bot is taking interviews, bot is giving an assessment after that 15-20 minute interaction on his physical body language, on his verbal ability, on his subject knowledge, and then advising a career path from whosoever is giving the interview. So this is the kind of advanced data learning that can be done, and I think SHL is in a testing stage for this module, and we were chosen as one of the universities where the software is getting tested because of my personal friendship with them. And they are testing in few other universities, and probably by the current coming academic session, it will be launched full scale. And I have personally given an interview to that bot. It feels very human, very human. You know, the responses from the bot are to the extent that I think you are getting nervous. I don't mind, take some water. This is the kind of responses that you're getting from the bot. So this is the kind of data-driven learning that probably technology can assist in. I think time is short. What are the challenges in this? So probably one challenge I have seen, and I'll start that with my experiences, especially about outcome-based education, because all the data-driven learning is essentially to enhance the outcome. I have seen that in best of the best institutions, you have made the COs for the subject, the course outcomes, you have mapped them to the POs, but actually you do not know what question to frame. 90% of the professors and faculty members do not know the right question, because they will, they do not know the order of the question, because if you want to measure his level 5 ability or level 4 ability, and you are asking a question from what you have taught in the form of define or list or explain, so it means you are testing his level 1 and level 2, and you want the outcomes to be level 3, 4 and level 5. You want to test him on evaluate, but your question says that you are testing his memory. And if you look at majority of the questions, right from school level to university level, I think it is a memory test. Majority of it is a memory test. It has got nothing to do with the level 4, level 5 kind of thing. So I'd like, because these are serious academicians, so I'd like their view on whether I'm right or wrong.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Munish, and I think I can answer this question definitely more clearly, though I am not the master of anything. Because we are having a very well-defined outcome-based frame education in Amity since 2015, and I am chair of outcome-based education. But if you all permit, if you don't feel bad, can I ask a question?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So do you differentiate between, how do you differentiate between output and outcome? So a simple question, because this is basically important. He spoke about program educational objectives, then program learning outcomes, then course objectives. It starts from vision, mission, graduate attributes, till last. So anybody can define difference between outcome and output. All right, I'm making your life simpler. All right, I'm making your life more simpler. How many of you are married? How many of you are married? Can you raise your hands? All right. How many of you are happily married? Now, is there any difference in the question? It is. So, do you know anybody who has got married without being happy? Or his or her intended objective was not to get happy? They just got married. ऐसा कोई हुआ? नहीं. Who? Okay. The exceptions are always there. Now, anybody who is getting into marriage, then the intended objective is what? To be happy. So when I ask, are you married or are you happily married, These are two different questions. The same way when I speak about outcome-based education, now UGC quality mandate has made it mandatory. We should be having an outcome-based frame education in every institution, and it's a pity that out of 43,000 plus institutions of higher education in India, only 200 plus institutions are having a well-defined outcome-based system in their institutions, and that is what Dr. Munish has rightly pointed out. But when I speak about, this is basically, lack of awareness everywhere. When I speak about outcome-based education, I start from mission, then to vision, then to mission, then to graduate attributes. Then I come to the program educational objectives, then I go further with program educational objective to course educational objectives. With every course objective, I define their learning outcomes, I define the outcome-based parameters, I define direct assessment, I define indirect assessment, and then So there may be an institution where 95% people have passed successfully with GPA more than 6, but there may be a case where when you go for their outcome-based education test, their direct test, and you may find out that out of that, 45% students have actually passed out the test. They have achieved the intended objective successfully. And this is basically a very big point which Dr. Munish has actually pointed out, that in case if we want to go for this outcome-based education, which is the key, which is the ultimate requirement of this data-driven technology, then we all have to make awareness. And at the parting note, I only want to say only one thing, friends. This is basically the life where we have to, go with this mantra of survival of fittest. And when I say survival of fittest, does not mean your physical fitness. It has to be your mental fitness, where you have to accept the changing paradigm of this world. If you are open to that, if you are accepting these changes, I think this is the key. So keep on evolving and keep on accepting the changes. Thank you so much.
We're talking about specifically
Outcome-based education.
So, no, it has to be. So, all are academicians, so nothing much to be talked about. And you talked about disparities about how do we do that. And by what outcome-based education is like beginning with the end in mind. So you define the way where you want to be, and from there you begin it. And there are a lot of confusion. And that outcome has to be defined, linked to the mission which you're talking about, where the institution wants to be. So you are right, but how we cannot achieve the desired outcome or probably drive the outcome-based education unless we have data. And most of the institutions, probably all of the institutions are using good softwares and learning management systems, LMS and SISs. My only request that there is data abundance. We need to have enough wisdom, or probably we need to be taught and trained and discuss that how do we look at the data. They are automated tools and they would give you predictions. But again, we being as a humans being over there, we need certain skills are required for us to be there. Besides, beyond what AI and generative AI are giving to us to take those decisions based on those data, and that's extremely important part. And we need to have rigorous training and discussions. वो चर्चा और परिचर्चा वो बहुत आवश्यक है. It's important in our education systems, and people should be given, faculty members and deans and directors should be given time, resources to invest time and money into them.
Aditya, your take on that?
So, sir, in a conclusion, it's data is there. I think we need to compare it, which is one metric which is generally missing. We land up looking at the evaluation of this particular year, but has it been compared with what was it last year? Have we made progress or have we gone down? Generally, most of us land up seeing, okay, there's growth in number of students, there's growth in number of placements, but have we ever considered two factors, Net Promoter Score and a customer satisfaction score, CSAT and NPS? It might be called in a different term for everyone else, but at the end of the day, if the student is not happy, and if the experience of the student is not happy, and if it is not being compared year on year or batch versus batch, in our cases, we can compare it every 3 months because our cohorts are like that. In universities or colleges' cases, it could be year on year as well. So I think, sir, if we consider that, the problem of output and outcome will get solved. And over to you, sir.
I think just for an update for everyone, there are softwares available now that force you to write the right kind of question. Because if you do the mapping correctly, the CO mapping, the PO mapping, and you choose the right kind of level you want to ask the question, it is BTL level 3, 4 or 5, then the software will force you to write the right kind of question. It will prevent you from writing questions such as describe, explain, these are level 1 and level 2. So again, come back to the same point, which is my closing remark of this entire discussion, that some entrepreneur, some startup has to come up and understand the whole educational system and develop one software that can get rid of these 25, 30 softwares that all of us use, and probably this entire outcome-based education can be forced also. Because if you force people to use outcome-based education using a software and they dedicatedly use that for a year or two, eventually they will learn that, boss, I cannot use these kind of terms in level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. So even if tomorrow that forcible software is not there, they will use the right kind of terms because they've learned over a journey of 1 or 2 years. So my take is, the whole idea of data-driven, what data should be used? Data-driven analytics has to be used at every steps of the educational journey. And how? There has to be one specific software which probably takes care of all the needs that you have. So I thank the esteemed panelists and also EdTalk for getting this done and giving me the opportunity to share my opinion with all of you. Thank you very much.
And him for being a great moderator as well.
Good afternoon all, and I invite all of you to come to my campus without any appointment. I'm there, I'll meet you. Please come over.
Thank you so much, and thank you so very much, EdTalk World. Thank you so much for inviting us.